Boxer Rebellion, 1900 to 1901. By the end of the 19th century, the Western powers in Japan had forced China's ruling Qing dynasty to accept wide foreign control over the country's economic affairs. In the Opium Wars, popular rebellions, and the Sino-Japanese War, China had fought to resist the foreigners, but it lacked a modernized military and suffered millions of casualties. Although the Boxers came from various parts of society, many were peasants, particularly from the Shandong province, which had been struck by natural disasters such as famine and flooding. In the 1890s, China had given territorial and commercial concessions in this area to several European nations, and the Boxers blamed their poor standard of living on foreigners who were colonizing their country. If you don't know what a Boxer is, I'm going to explain it right now. A society of righteous and harmonious fists, more commonly known by foreigners as the Boxers, was a secret society founded in the northern coastal province of Shandong, consisting largely of people who had lost their livelihoods due to imperialism and natural disasters. The Boxers had some control over the Empress and her colleagues because their leader claimed he was a descendant from the earlier Ming dynasty. Foreigners came to call the well-trained, athletic young men Boxers due to martial arts and calisthenics they practiced. The Boxers' primary feature is spirit possession, which involved the whirling of swords, violent prostrations, and chanting incantations to Taoist and Buddhist spirits. When the spirit possession had been achieved, the Boxers would allegedly attain invulnerability against guns and cannon. Moving on to the rebellion, in 1900, the Boxer movement spread to the Beijing area, where Boxers killed Chinese Christians and Christian missionaries and destroyed churches and railroad stations and other property. In the latter part of 1900, the Boxers began a siege of Beijing's foreign legislation district, where the official quarters of the foreign diplomats were located, and the next day King Empress Dowager Cixi declared war on all foreign nations with diplomatic ties in China. As the Western powers in Japan organized a multinational force to crush the rebellion, the siege stretched into weeks, and the diplomats, their families, and guards suffered through hunger and degrading conditions as they fought to keep the Boxers at bay, and several thousand Chinese Christians were killed. After fighting its way through northern China, an international force of approximately 20,000 troops from 8 nations, Austria-Hungary, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, and Russia, the United Kingdom, and the United States, arrived to take Beijing and rescue the foreigners and Chinese Christians. It succeeded. The Boxer Rebellion came to an end. The aftermath of the Boxer Rebellion. The Boxer Rebellion formally ended with the signing of the Boxer Protocol on September 7, 1901. By terms of the agreement, forts protecting Beijing were to be destroyed. Boxer and Chinese government officials involved in the uprising were to be punished. Foreign legislations were permitted to station troops in Beijing for their defense. China was prohibited from importing arms for 2 years, and it agreed to pay more than $330 million in reparations to the foreign nations involved. The Qing dynasty, established in 1644, was weakened by the Boxer Rebellion. Following an uprising in 1911, the dynasty came to an end and China became a republic in 1912.